containing in this? I mean, economically, how are the South Asians doing?
Of the people that we surveyed, a significant percentage of them are doing very well financially. But it's also important to remember that about 11% of those that we surveyed are making less than $29,000. The disparity, I think, in the socioeconomic status of the individuals that we surveyed is what we see all around the country. This is a community of contrasts. There are some people that are doing well, that face fewer challenges, but there are some people that are struggling, that do have problems and needs and concerns. Of the people that are doing well, though, there's one trend that I think is important for us to talk about, which we found in the report. Many of them said that they still have a lack of access to information and resources. So when Nadia is talking about the access to health information and access to legal services, many of the people that are doing well also said that they have those same problems. They don't know where to turn. They don't know where to go. And they might not know what their rights are under certain laws as well. The other trend we found with those who are doing well financially is that they too confront some discrimination and bias problems. So some of the young professionals we talked to talked about how they face the proverbial glass ceiling. They have a hard time being promoted. They have a hard time being advanced in their careers, and some of them believe that it could be due to their national origin, their race, their religious affiliation. Others talked a little bit about how they face harassment, and this was especially so of the Muslim and Sikh individuals that we surveyed. They said that after September 11th, they've been seeing a rise in terms of the incidents of harassment or discrimination that they've been facing because of their religious faith. So while it's true that we saw an economic disparity, I think it's very important to also note that those who are doing well do confront some of the same problems and issues that those who aren't doing well face.
Tell me, what are some of the solutions you have suggested?
Certainly. I can start off with that. The solutions that we provided are framed in the form of recommendations, and we make these recommendations to government agencies and policymakers, and we also make them to what we call community stakeholders, people that are in the community, people that want to work with our community, that really have an interest in this community thriving. So some of the recommendations that we've talked about are for government agencies to do more targeted outreach to this segment of the Asian American community in the district. So how can a government agency such as, say, the Office on Aging or the Office on Human Rights, these are some of the agencies in the district, how can they expand their outreach to our community? We've also recommended that they provide translated materials in South Asian languages, because a lot of the people that we talk to feel more comfortable if they received a brochure about their rights in Urdu or Bangla or Hindi. A third recommendation that we've made is that the government agency personnel be trained about cultural competency, that they understand when they're out in the field in different wards in the district how to communicate to someone of the South Asian background. How do you communicate with people? How do you read visual cues? How can you be respectful of religious customs? So we are also recommending that cultural sensitivity training be afforded to government agency personnel who do community outreach. So those are 3 specific recommendations we make.
So now we have defined the problems, you have defined the solutions. Now how do you implement it?
Well, one way is to work with, for example, one of the recommendations that Deepa had mentioned was doing more for government agencies to do more. One would be to work with government agencies more to outline what their obligations are to the community and to assist them as well. Government agencies may not necessarily know where the South Asian community is located within the district. And so we, as sort of service organizations that do specifically work with that community, know where they physically are. And so they can work with us in order to get some of their messages out as well. In terms of translating, DC government, for example, is actually supposed to translate all of their services, all of their vital services in different languages. And so it is incumbent upon them to do that. And so we can make sure that they do that by following up with them, if need be by filing complaints with them, whatever sort of recommendations, whatever they call for is something that we're interested in doing. With community organizations, it's working and doing coalition building, working with community organizations to remind them of what their obligations are and to inform them of this emerging community that needs assistance.
Now, with reduced budgets everywhere in all the states and the federal level, how do you accomplish that?
Well, a lot of what we're asking for is really not to do something new, but to expand what you're supposed to be doing. You know, government agencies are supposed to be reaching out to all communities to inform them about resources, whether it's how to apply for food stamps or whether it's about, you know, what your rights are under the anti-discrimination law. So what we're saying is, look, this community also needs to be part of your outreach. And so we're just asking government agencies to continue doing what they're doing, but to put a little bit of a focus on this community. And as Nadia mentioned, we stand as community-based organizations to work with agencies to the extent that we can to make sure that some of the resources and information are being provided to the community. We too will be taking a role in implementing these recommendations. Our organizations are committed to continuing to actually do our own outreach to the South Asian community in the district, and we also hope in the next year to 2 years to expand this work into Maryland and Virginia. We would love to be able to provide this sort of information about communities in Montgomery County or Baltimore County or in Arlington and Fairfax counties. And so that's really where we're looking forward to.
So let me ask you both a question. This model can be replicated all around the country. You can ramp it up and do it. Are you going to do it?
We certainly hope so. One of the reasons that SAALT exists is to provide baseline information about the South Asian community so we understand clearly who we are, what we need, and where we need to go. So we've actually already done something similar to this in New Jersey. And we followed the same model of working again to advocate with government agencies and community organizations and other leaders. We hope to do the same in some of the other parts of the country with growing communities such as the Chicago area, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and others. We'll have to see if we're able to. But we think this is a good start. And we hope that both community members and leaders, as well as other organizations and stakeholders, will want to see more of this. And that's why we're so glad that you featured it, because the more awareness we can raise that these sorts of resources exist and that organizations like ours exist, I think there will be more of a demand to want this information.
That's our job. We are community television. You go into the community, so you are the community. Glad to serve you.
Thank you.
Call goes out to all of you who are working with the government agencies. If you need help reaching out to the South Asian community or the Asian Pacific community, here are the people. I want to take this opportunity, folks, to tell you if you have a problem, whether you're not be able to get a Medicare or Medicaid, or for that matter, immigration or others, these are trained professionals and lawyers. Recommend very highly you visit their site in case you're having a problem. I want to thank both of you for coming into our studios. Totally enjoyed talking to both of you.
Thank you so much for having
us.
us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepa. And good luck to both of you.
Thank you.